Hello and welcome to the Talk Football Podcast. This is episode 16, season 4, and I am joined by a very, very special guest. This is my first ever podcast crossover kind of thing. We are welcoming Kieran from the FC Podcast to the pod. Welcome, mate.
Thank you, mate. Thanks for having me on. Pleasure to be here. Pleasure to be here.
Awesome stuff. Now, we have no script. We don't know what we're going to say. I've got a couple of bits that I'm going to kick off with Kieran and ask him about. And then wherever it takes us and whatever we ramble on about and talk football wise, that's what we're
See
going
where
to go
the
with.
wind takes us.
That's it. Where the wind blows. There was a show like that. What was that? Ricky Gervais, wasn't it? Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not very well versed in TV, you know. I don't watch a lot
Are
of
you not?
TV.
Oh,
No, I don't watch a lot of TV.
I'm TV mad.
No, I don't watch a
Me
lot.
and the missus, like, we just watch through loads. Already, look, we're off rambling. But yeah, no. Right. So introduce yourself, mate. And tell us what you're all about.
I am a other podcast host. So I host a football podcast called the FC Podcast with my co-host Connor, who unfortunately isn't here today. But as well as that, I organise arguably the biggest TikTok charity match in the UK, Match for Mind. We were the first one of its kind. We went completely mad viral, sort of. I think our hashtags on something like 35 million views.
Yeah. Screw you, Sidemen.
Yeah, well, we did it before you, so um yeah, and we've raised just shy of 20 grand in the 3 years we've done it.
That's amazing, mate.
So we've done it for Mind UK, and we've done it for a local children's hospice as well called Hope House.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's sort of where all this started, I suppose, where it all kicked off. But it's good fun. I love doing that sort of stuff. We're having a year off this year, but next year we might be
back with a
back.
bang.
Back
Well,
with a bang.
hopefully, I'll come down and watch the match.
Yeah, mate, definitely. You'll
That'd
have to
be
get down.
awesome.
They're a good day. To be fair, all the charity games are. It's become sort of quite a big thing at the minute in the UK.
Yeah,
With TikTok charity games. But yeah, no, they're a good day to be fair. They're good quality
yeah.
stuff.
And obviously, something that obviously people that know me that anything to do with mental health, etc., is something that's very close to my heart, and I'm going to be going into that on another episode, talking about my struggles with mental health and what happened with me.
Mm.
But we're here to talk about football today.
We are, unfortunately.
Now I know, Kieran's a Man United fan. We spoke to a Man United fan on my last episode, Andy, and obviously things haven't all been rosy in the garden at Old
No,
Trafford.
not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, so I'll ask you about that because Ten Hag, stay or go.
Look, it's easy to say Ten Hag out in it, but I'm not Ten Hag out. I'm not Ten Hag out. I'm very much Ten Hag in. Simply just because if you sack him, then you restart this all again, didn't you? You get a new manager bounce, you have a successful season, he loses a dressing room, and then we're back to square one. Do you know what I mean? It's the way it has gone for the last 4 or 5 years. Well, since
Yeah,
Fergie's left, really.
I'm a bit torn
Um,
with it. With like, I mean, obviously looking from an outside perspective,
I
it's
would have
like
thought you'd like Ten Hag. You sort of.
a Ten. I'm stop. I'm Ten Hagish. Oh, the worst Netherlands accent possible. Yeah, but I mean, successive cup finals. Obviously, top four and a trophy in the cabinet in the first sort of proper season.
Yeah. And I
So,
mean, he's had a lot to deal with this season. Like, I'm not saying he's the only manager that's had injuries because he's not, but
oh
you know,
Christ,
I think
we
there's
we
something
know
like
all about that.
74 separate injuries this season, which is that's going to halt anyone's season. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, it takes its toll. I mean, we know all about that at Chelsea.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, we're very much in a similar sort of boat, United and Chelsea, I think.
well, yeah, and only separate by a few points, which is incredible. But bearing
Yeah.
in mind how crap we've been.
Yeah. No, we've been equally as bad, but there have been spells this season. But
Yeah, but look at I mean, I look at the squad and that, and I really don't think you're that far off.
I
A
think
couple
we
of
need.
key signings. I think you need
Yeah.
maybe another sort of like. And I spoke to this about Andy, with Andy as well. I think maybe another sort of like a box to box, not holding midfielder, but someone who can kind of take the pressure off of Mainu in there as well. And
Yeah, Casemiro's not got it
no,
anymore, is it?
no,
He ain't got the
the
legs.
legs are gone.
Playing Casemiro in a Premier League match is like playing. It's like entering Susan Boyle in an Olympic 100-meter sprint, is it?
Yeah,
You
or the
just don't do it.
Titanic in the rowing.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like entering a Ford Cortina in the F1. Do you know what I mean? Like he's gone.
Like,
He can't do it
where's
anymore.
everyone? Where's everyone gone? Where's everyone gone? I don't
Oh, I would
understand.
start, did we?
Oh, Legs, why aren't you working anymore? You did
Yeah,
at Madrid.
it's just, but it's mad because last season he was so
He
good,
was good, and
and
he scored. I mean, he scored against us as well.
I
I mean,
just
it's
I don't get how he's gone from one of the best in the league, and he transformed us last season, and
yeah,
he's transformed us again this season. But every time he's on the pitch, he looks like he don't know what he's doing.
yeah.
He always looks
There
swollen
is
as
one
well.
player that's had a. He does look like he's been stung by a wasp.
Yeah, he does. I don't know if his hay fever's got a proper bad or what's going on, but yeah,
There's
something
some,
used to happen,
yeah,
didn't it?
and forward areas. I don't think you necessarily that bad off. I like Hoyland. I thought that was
Yeah,
a good signing. Obviously Raw getting him in at a young age and that, and a bit of a risk, a lot of pressure, obviously with the ask with the price, etc.
yeah. There's a lot more to come from him, I think.
I think so, and I think you do look a better team with him in there because
Yeah,
you had
agree.
that
Yeah,
physical
definitely.
presence
Yeah.
up front, etc. Yeah, so I think, and obviously, young Kobe's been amazing. I mean, what that kid's achieved in such a short space of
Oh,
time, the impact.
he could go straight to the top, couldn't he? Definitely.
Oh, it's that's frightening. And you look at young players and the likes of him, likes of Bellingham, etc. And
Yeah.
how quick these players come on now.
Mm.
And I find that's incredible. You know,
Yeah.
I wish I had a smidgen of the talent at
Oh,
that
I
age
know.
when I was
Yeah.
young.
But
You
then
know,
you've got Cole Palmer as well, who's just been like amazing this
I
season.
had this with a few Chelsea fans when we signed him, and they're going, "Oh, we're letting Mount go," and
Yeah.
I'm gonna come on to that. What your thoughts on him?
Yeah.
Judas. But no, I
Proper
mean,
Chelsea, isn't he? Proper Chelsea.
proper Chelsea. Yeah. No, Palmer's just been an absolute breath of fresh air.
Yeah. No, he's good.
Incredible the impact. I mean, to to turn down your hometown club that wants you to stay to say, look, no, I need to go and play football,
Yeah.
and then to have that kind of impact and to be level at the top of the Premier Leagues. I mean, God knows where we'd be without him. Well, we know where we would be without him.
Well, yeah,
We
you'd
found
be
out that
probably somewhere floundering with Nottingham Forest and Everton.
well, yeah, well, we found out at the Emirates the other day where we would be without him. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, like I say, United, I don't think if that far off. Rashford, I mean, where do you stand on him? Because
I think it's time
I
to
mean,
go for Rashford. I think he's
think if
got a bit
PSG came
stagnant.
with a bit of money,
Yeah. Like it's
send
but then
Anthony
again,
with
if you
him.
look at his career, he does this.
He does,
He'll
and
have a
then I
great season and then
next
he'll have
season he could come
a
back flying.
dreadful season. He'll have a great season. And next season, I wouldn't surprise me if he come back and scored 20 odd goals.
Yeah,
Um but I think if the money comes in for him, if someone offers it, I think I like Diallo. I think when he's
I
played,
think
he's looked good.
there's more to come from him. I kept a track of him when he was on his loan spells,
He was quality at
and
Sunderland, yeah.
he tore it up at Sunderland.
Yeah,
And
I think Rashford just I mean, he looks so uninterested.
yeah,
That's what
and
I'm
I
getting. He
think
looks.
with Diallo as well. Obviously, the fact that he naturally plays off the right, Garnacho naturally plays from the left.
Yeah,
Combine that with Hoyland, and you've got a real basis there for a solid,
it's a
almost
good
future
front three, and
proof.
it's a young front three as
It's
well.
a
And
young front
that's
three,
important. You can
and
build on that, and
you can get that working as a unit. And
exactly, yeah,
adding Bruno in it, get him out of playing in these other positions across midfield, and you have him in the 10 where he
in the
needs to
10.
be,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and a quality holding midfielder alongside Kobe, and
But
all of a
then,
sudden,
yeah, then saying that, I wouldn't be against Mason Mount off the right either because I mean that's where he played probably his best football for Chelsea,
yeah,
coming off the right. It's
yeah,
where he
yeah,
won the Champions League with
in
him
the
there.
forward areas, off of either flank, really, he was pivotal
Yeah, yeah,
in that
absolutely,
season. We won the
absolutely.
Champions League.
And with
Obviously
Hoyland up top as well, you've got someone
yeah,
there that can facilitate him because I think that's what's been missing this season for him.
yeah. And I
Um,
find I just find with the Mount situation, I know he's had the injuries and that, but the drop off in form, from the point of where he was when he left us,
yeah, yeah,
and I worried for him. I say Judas and all that, but I'd still hold an affection for him because I think as a player for Chelsea, he was still he'd done well for us, and no
yeah,
one can
yeah,
knock that. But yeah, I worried for him going to United because, and we've seen it with a lot of players walking into Old Trafford, and
mm.
it's a massive club, and
Yeah. I mean, there is no other club in the world where you're under such a spotlight.
no, you know,
Um, but do you know what? He's had a rough season, mate, with injuries and stuff. And genuinely, when he's played since
all
coming
right,
back from that injury, I've looked at him and thought, he's playing for the badge. He's giving it his all. He's
Yeah.
running, and that's you know what? There's so many players this season of just down tools,
Well,
and he's
that's the
not
other
doing that.
thing. I mean,
And you know
not
what?
to,
He's played well. He got a goal against was it Brentford he scored against?
yeah, his
Um,
first goal. Yeah, his
yeah,
first
and
goal, wasn't it?
I think he's played well. I think he's played all right, and I think it's a good bit of business bringing Mountain. He is a very very talented footballer.
Yeah, I think at the time it probably worked very well for both of us.
Yeah.
You know,
But you're
the
getting fined for that one,
potential.
aren't
Well, I don't know. Maybe they'll find another hotel to sell. I don't.
you?
So, I mean, well, I did want to touch on FFP, and we'll do that when we in a bit as well, because
Yeah.
I struggle with it, and I've read articles, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around it.
Oh mate, I couldn't even tell you
But
what it
yeah,
stands for.
the thing with Mountain is obviously because we wanted to try and maximize the money we got from you.
Yeah.
It delayed the transfer apparently until after the cut-off point for that financial period.
Right.
So that's kind of where the problem stems, which is where we
Yeah.
could fall foul
Mm.
of the FFP rules, or
Yeah.
as they call it now, profit and sustainability rules, PSR. Um, why they have to change the name, I don't know. Stupid rule anyway. But yeah, so for that particular season, we could be in a bit of bother. I mean, I've heard sort of like 15-point deductions being muted, and
They love a points deduction at the minute, don't they?
I do, and I
I don't
don't
know
get
what
it.
I've never seen this many point deductions. They love them.
And when we talk about that, because I've got a real problem with that, with what they've done with Forest and Everton, and Everton in particular, because I think it's really unfair with what they've done with them. But yeah, I don't know. I I've struggled to talk about with Chelsea, because like we've had some points where we've, like, we've had a few highs, and then but the lows have been real low. But then when I look at the league position,
Mm,
and we've got more points than we would have from where we were at this point last year.
yeah.
So I don't know. It feel I'm still potching for me.
Yeah. I mean,
But it's
he's
weird
a
that
good manager, isn't
we're such a similar sort of
he?
stage with our
Yeah,
clubs.
we're very sort of I don't know. I the culture at United is just rotten at the minute, and it has been for a long time.
Yeah, we've seen that. I think we've pretty much seen that almost since the early days with Moyes,
Yeah.
and it kind of hasn't changed.
Players have got too much power. That's all it is.
Yeah,
There's too many players in there that are too influential and too powerful.
yeah, and I probably see.
Oh, have we froze?
Yeah, well.
Have I
Oh,
froze?
yeah, we got Kieran's cameras froze, but we can still hear him, so that's all right.
Oh, there we go. I thought
There
I'd
we
lost
go,
you then.
and it's back.
There we go. I don't know.
Gotta
Well,
love the
what was I
internet.
saying? I know. I bloody.
um, I can't remember now. That's thrown me. That has.
Um, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the culture at United.
There we go. Both got early onset dementia.
That's it. I'm over the hill now. It started. Um, yeah, no, the
Yeah,
culture's just rotten. The players are too powerful. There are too many players there that hold too much
yeah.
influence in the
I would
dressing room.
think Rashford would be a catalyst to that, given that sort of like even though at such a young age, he's he is a senior figure at the club.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
And I think Mourinho came out, was it this week or last week, saying that there are still two or three players at United that he didn't want when he was there that are
well, there
still
you
there.
go.
Well, that's
Yeah.
obviously Martial, Luke Shaw,
But
and it that. But
actually, funny you should mention Mourinho, because I saw a thing that apparently that he was, whispers to him that he'd happily return to Old Trafford. Now, I don't imagine for 1 minute that United fans would probably accept that, because the football was a bit dire.
do you know what? I hated Mourinho when he was at Chelsea. I hated him. I hated him when he was at United as well.
Most did.
He's a very, very unlikable manager.
Yeah,
But probably think he did deserve a bit more time at Old Trafford, if I'm being
yeah.
brutally honest. The
I
football
mean,
wasn't great, but the
won a
results were
trophy,
there. Do you know what I
won
mean?
a
He won,
trophy.
well, technically won a treble, didn't he? That's what he was calling it.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I mean, we were won a European trophy. All right, it's the Europa League, but it's a
trophy's a
European
trophy.
trophy. Yeah, silverware,
Yeah,
silverware. So we won a trophy. And yeah, I think he made pretty decent signings. He brought in Lukaku, he brought in Pogba, he brought in Ibrahimovic. I don't think
yeah.
any of them you can say were particularly dreadful signings.
No,
You maybe make
I
an argument for Pogba, but he was there for a long time and he had a couple
yeah.
of very good seasons.
The Pogba thing with him, that's a Pogba issue, not
Yeah,
necessarily because you were signing a. I mean, I'm a bit of a Juve fan actually,
At
and
the
he
time,
was incredible for
one of
Juve.
the best in the world, wasn't he? If
Oh,
not the best.
absolutely. Always turned it on the international stage with France as well. Won him a World
Yeah,
Cup.
yeah. It's a
So
shame how it's gone for him, isn't it?
yeah, but yeah, like you say, the signings were good. I think it's the trouble is with Mourinho, it just has that such a divisive nature and character
He
that
chucks players under the bus too easy, didn't he? That's the one
yeah,
thing I hated about him. And like, look at he would rip Luke Shaw apart every week.
oh, I remember that one when the game Luke Shaw had a good game.
Yeah,
And then they interviewed Mourinho and he said, well, he had a good game because of me, because I was shouting at him constantly during the match and
yeah.
telling him where to go and what to do. And I'm thinking,
It's like just give him a bit of
oh,
credit, like. But then he came back, and I think he's the best left back in the league.
oh, 100%. And do you know what? I'm hoping. I don't know what his injury status is like, but I'm so hoping he gets back before the end of the season
Well, they
because
reckon he's back in the next couple of weeks.
we can't go into the Euros having Ben Chilwell at left back.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry,
He's not good
sorry,
enough, is he?
Ben, if you watch,
Oh, you see,
unlikely,
well, I'm
but
I'm a Welshman, so
well, there.
I'd like you to have Ben Chilwell at the back. I
Yeah,
shan't be watching the Euros this year.
no,
Sour topic for me, that.
no, yeah, well, so close, but so far.
Well, do you know what? I'm not too bothered. I'm not too bothered. We'll
I,
just
I,
end up getting
I mean,
pasted, and it
there's,
hopefully
do
means
you
that he
know
gets the
what? There's
sack.
such
So
a buzz around, like the Euros and a buzz around this England team. I don't see it.
no,
I'm not seeing. Yeah, and all right. I'm at an age. I'm 45. I went through the era of the supposed
the
golden
golden
era.
generation, yeah.
Where we couldn't somehow work out that you could play a three-man midfield with Gerrard,
Yeah,
Lampard, and Scholes,
yeah.
and and I've lived through that, and I've watched it, and I've watched a succession of managers fail, and I'm not really, and yet again, this must scare you because he's being linked with the United job and all in Southgate.
That would be the worst thing ever because I just honestly, a bloke that couldn't keep his job at a relegated Middlesbrough is
Yeah,
not the right man, not the right
no,
man to be managing Man
and
United.
he's done well with England, but he's
But
done well because he's had a group of players
but
that
has he? Like, if you
are good.
look at it, has
Yeah,
he actually achieved anything that you shouldn't be
no,
achieving?
no, with that group of players, that pool of players that he has available to him at the
Yeah.
moment, we should have won
And
something.
I'm not just saying it as a bitter Welsh fan. You got to the Euros final, and I don't think you had a particularly hard run to the final.
No, no,
Germany, all right, fair enough. But Germany weren't
but
playing their
but
best
but
football.
not the best German team in years.
Not at all.
No,
And again, you had that. Am I thinking of the Euros before? There was one where you had a penalty that 1,000,000% was not a penalty, and you went through on it.
yeah,
But I don't think you can say that Southgate's been a successful England manager. All right, he's been one of your most successful in recent history,
yeah.
but again, that's not really
I
saying
don't,
too
I
much,
don't,
is
I
it?
just don't, I just don't think he has that killer instinct. And yet again, I think if that's an appointment you make, it's almost doomed to failure straight away because
Exactly. Yeah, it's
realistically, everyone's chasing City and everyone needs to close that gap. And that's not an easy thing to do. And I would probably think United, in terms of like financially and all that, are probably the only club that could potentially do that because of the amount
yeah,
of revenue that you bring in. And, you are with, it's unquestionably, marketability wise and everything else. You're one of the richest clubs. And I don't think you have to worry about FFP and everything. You can go out and you can blow
yeah.
whatever
We
money.
we we raise a lot of money
Yeah.
from
I know,
sponsorships and
with the Glazers and all that, how much they take out the club, but ultimately
yeah.
that's not what the FFP and everything's joshed
Well,
on.
it
So
seems like they're being sort of slowly phasing himself out, which is good.
yeah. What's your thoughts on that with Radcliffe and all that and the 25% thing?
Do you know what? I wasn't for it when it first announced. I was because there was a lot about him at Nice, wasn't there, where he almost bankrupted them and
Yeah.
but I mean, look what he's done with Nice. They're second in the league at the minute.
I find it a strange setup because he's talking about obviously, I want to invest in this and do that. I mean, well, you're only fronting up 25% of the money. So you still got to go to the Glazers and go, listen, I want to buy this player for 100 million. I'm putting in 25. You got to cough up the other side. How does that
Yeah.
work?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we'll see it in the transfer window, I think. But do
Yeah.
you know what? He's brought in some really, really good people at the club.
Dan Ashworth could be the key signing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that one we brought in from City as well. I can't remember his name, but
Yeah.
we're getting football people involved at the club, which it hasn't
That's
been
been
like
the
that.
problem.
And since David Gill left, we had Ed
Yes.
Woodward there, who was a banker.
Shocking.
never ever watched football, didn't know what football was. The Glazers don't even know what colour United playing. Um, do you know what I mean? Like, so we've got football people there now. Jim Ratcliffe is a Manchester United fan. He is a
Yes.
lifelong Man United
Yeah.
fan. He gets it. He knows what the club's about. That's
I mean,
huge.
obviously he came close to potentially buying us as well.
Yeah,
And I wouldn't have necessarily have been against that either.
it's better than Bowley, isn't it? Ted Lasso.
I don't get me started there. Clear Lake. And the thing is that, right, because of the deal, um, when they bought the club, we can't get rid of them for 10 years. So we're stuck, no matter
That
what,
is rough. That
we're
it's going
stuck
to be
with them for 10
10
years.
years of signing random people for
I
112
can't
million.
argue with the money they've put in,
Oh, you've put a lot of that in. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but yet again, it's people that are not football people making football decisions, and that
Signing
is a
names, not
recipe.
players, aren't you?
Yeah, you're playing Football Manager, and it's got us in trouble now because
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
you know, touching on the PSR thing, you can't. We've got a 41,000 seater stadium. We don't have the revenue stream, that you have that, and albeit under the 20 years of success under Roman,
Yeah.
worldwide we're still nowhere near Real Madrid's,
Mm,
United, Liverpool,
yeah.
so
No.
we just don't generate that income.
Yeah.
Um, and
You mentioned stadium there as well, and that's another thing I like about Ratcliffe is the fact that he's come straight in and their first main sort of project is the stadium.
the
I
Wembley of
don't
the
know if you've
North.
been to Old Trafford.
Not for years. I think the last time I went, I must have been, I don't know. I mean, you're talking maybe I must have been around about 14, 15.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, so it would have been like
before the corners got filled in.
amazing then.
Yeah,
Honestly, right now it is. We are years and years and years behind other big stadiums. Like
yeah,
roof is like there are holes in it. You're there, you can see the sun shining through the roof.
yeah.
When it rains, you
You're
get
getting
wet.
soaked.
Yeah. Um,
Well, it's
there's
amazing
so
when you
much
look
there.
at. I mean, obviously, you look at recently Real Madrid, Barcelona with the new camp and what they're doing on an existing site. So I suppose there is. I've seen some of like. I watched a YouTube video actually, and it was AI mock-ups of what you could potentially do with Old Trafford.
Hmm.
But you've got the room there where you could kind of do what
Yeah, there's
Spurs
so
did.
much space. All right, they're one of the
Yeah,
stands you can't do anymore because it goes over the train tracks, which is fair enough. But we don't need
yeah,
to make bigger stands. 79,000 seater. Um, but there's loads of space around the stadium where it's just like it was old like business parks and stuff. But I'm pretty sure
yeah.
United own all this, and they just don't do anything with it. It's just derelict there.
And
So there's
that
plenty of room to
it's like what
build on.
Spurs did when when they did the new White Hart Lane.
Yeah,
And it was fascinating because obviously Paul, who comes on the podcast quite regularly, big Spurs fan.
yeah,
Um, so I spent a lot of time going down and watching the construction of the stadium. And at one point, obviously, when they knocked down a stand at White
yeah,
Hart Lane, and you could actually the new stadium was encroaching in
yeah.
to the old stadium. So I think there's definitely, I mean, whether or not financially that is doable with the current like infrastructure, but I definitely think like a brand new stadium, but on the current site.
Yeah, yeah, no, I think that would be. I like. It would be a huge shame to see Old Trafford go.
Yeah,
Genuinely, it would, and I don't want them to knock it down, and I want them to expand and not build a new
on the
stadium
current site. Yeah,
personally. But if it happens, then it happens, and change is inevitable. It's going to happen, and you've got to move with the times, and that seems to be what the big clubs are doing. I mean, you look at Everton; their new stadium looks like it's going to be state of the art and fantastic.
yeah. If they
Um,
ever get it finished.
if they ever get it finished, yeah, keep getting fined, don't they?
Well,
Um,
we'll go with that next. We'll go with the PSR thing and all that, and we'll bring Everton into it and the
yeah.
stadiums, etc.
But I'd love Old Trafford to become. I don't know if you've ever been to the new camp in Barcelona,
I
but
love the
that
new
is
camp.
like a sporting village when you go there because they've
It's
got all
incredible.
these like little Barcelona stadiums for like basketball and women's football and all this sort of stuff just dotted
Yeah,
around. And like
that's
you see,
one of my favorite cities in the world.
yeah, I went for a stadium tour there a couple of years ago, loved it, amazing, and it's Barcelona everywhere you look.
Yeah. And
I
do you
you
know what I love about that city? It's just so easy to compared to like where I live in London. It's
yeah,
just so easy to get around, and you know, you, we our hotel was not far off Las Ramblas,
yeah,
and yet you walk out the hotel on Las Ramblas, you jump on the tube, and you're at the stadium in like 10 minutes,
it's
and
amazing, yeah.
it's incredible. I remember my first time walking into the mega store there.
Oh, it's like the three stories with a big, you can lock down the middle. Yeah, it's amazing,
When
isn't it?
I went, it was kind of like sunken in. sort of like
Yeah,
under the
yeah, yeah, yeah,
stadium. I
yeah.
don't know if it's all still the same since the last time I went, but and it's incredible. And I bought a football, a Barcelona football, and I came outside and I was just start with the missus, and I was just started doing some kick ups randomly, and then a few other fans come over, and it was like some German fans and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we ended up it's in, like on the concourse outside the stadium and have an impromptu kick about with a load
Amazing.
of
It's a proper
foreign fans.
football city, isn't it? Proper football
It
city.
is. I've been
Yeah,
lucky.
I went when Messi, Ronaldo, no, Messi, Neymar, and Suarez were playing.
Oh, the
And
MSN.
I went to a game. It was Villarreal, and they beat them 5-1. And Ousmane
Wow.
Dembele scored a hat trick. Um, oh, yeah, but it was sick because it was like one of the last games of the season. They did a trophy parade as well. So
Yeah.
I think they'd just won the league and they'd won the cup. This is when Barcelona were
I
like
mean, I
prime
was up in the
Barcelona.
when I watched the game there, I was up in the gods.
Yeah, we
Um,
were quite high up, but
and
no
like
bad seats.
there's
Seats
no,
were
I mean, the
phenomenal.
players look just like tiny, you know.
Yeah, we weren't. We were like, I think we were like second tier, not
Yeah.
top tier, but
And I don't like heights.
it is very steep there, isn't it?
Yeah.
It
It's like,
is very steep,
wow,
yeah.
yeah, I'm frightened to leave my seat. You know what
And
I
you can
mean?
look over the back as well, which is weird. That's what I found strange. Because
But
we did
it's,
a stadium tour there the day after.
I'd love to get out there now. Pardon me, I'm burping the coffee up now. That's nice. That's what everyone wants to see on a Saturday morning. But yeah, I'll have to get back out there. And I haven't done the new Juventus Stadium yet either.
No, yeah, I'd
Um,
very much like to do that one.
I've done
Very much like
obviously
to do that
I've
one.
been to the Deli Alpi, which you always felt a disconnect. You know, it was too far
Yeah.
outside the city, etc. But yeah, the new stadium looks incredible. Dying to get to that, but yeah.
Mm,
So
mm.
while we're talking about stadiums, let's move on to, like you mentioned, Everton, um,
Yeah. I don't really
and
get that too
PSR.
much. It's just I don't can't get my head around it.
So the way I've read it, and we're looking at the the points reductions for City for Forest and for Everton.
Yeah.
So Everton's accounting problems pretty much mainly stem from the expenditure on the stadium,
Mm,
and there's a certain level of that you can knock out of your total, and they apparently they embellished how much the costs were, etc., and that's what brought
yeah.
them foul. But they've gained no sporting advantage
No,
from
it's
what their
you see
losses are.
that's what I can't get my head around. It's
Yeah.
very
Whereas
I don't know,
opposed
it's
to
very
Forest,
strange, isn't it?
where Forest have broken the rules on their accounting, because one of the seasons is um, for the championship season in their promotion year, and then
Yeah.
obviously now the year in the Premier League, etc. And they've broken the FFP rules with signing players and overspending, and yet that gives them a sporting advantage. But yet they get docked less points than Everton, who have fallen foul because they've bumped up
Yeah, it
you know.
just it don't make
I
any
don't get
sense,
it.
does
I
it?
don't get it. And
Um,
ever since this FFP came in, for me, it's just punishing smaller clubs.
And I was going to say that, yeah, because you look at City, and I am almost certain that nothing really substantial is going to happen there. There won't be a
None at
points
all.
deduction. There'll
100%
be a
not happening.
fine, maybe a transfer ban,
Yeah,
which I mean, they don't need a transfer, do they? I mean, look
not
at them, the
really.
best team in the world. Um,
Yeah,
so if you're looking at what Everton and what Forest have been deducted, Man City should be deducted about 1,048 points.
yeah.
Really, shouldn't they? But
In theory, they should be kicked out of the league.
they should.
They should have to
Rangers,
go.
Rangers. What happened to
Yeah,
Rangers?
100%.
But they're the
They
big
ain't gonna
boys,
happen.
aren't they? They're the big boys. They bring,
They bring in the money.
yeah, that's it. So it's
Yeah.
if that happens, then English football loses Pep Guardiola. It
Yes.
loses Haaland. It loses De Bruyne. It loses Rodri. It loses all these big names because they ain't going to stick at City, are they?
Of course you're not.
Like
You're not going to
they're not
say
loyal to City. They don't love the
no.
club. It's the
You
same
know,
with most big clubs. Players aren't loyal to it. They're loyal to the wage they get,
no.
and they're loyal to the trophies. But
They're not sticking
um,
around. They're not playing. They're not having an away day like
yeah,
Rotherham.
exactly. Yeah, Erling Haaland rolling out at Ebbsfleet. It's not going to happen, is it? Do you know what I mean?
No.
Um,
Although it'd be awesome to see Erling Haaland at the race course.
it would. That would be great. I'd be down there.
I'm so.
Um,
Do you know what? I mean, I know I'm sidetracking going away again, but I'm so invested in Wrexham.
Mate, do you know what? And I don't know if you can see the hoodie I've got on. This is a Wrexham hoodie.
That's it. I've watched the series from the start.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
a big Ryan Reynolds fan and Rob McElhenney fan anyway from their shows and whatnot.
yeah. It's
It's just
so
incredible.
weird because I'm from Wrexham and I spend a lot of my time in Wrexham. Watching that series, I'm seeing people that I know becoming like celebrities locally. Wayne,
Yeah,
who owns a
the pub.
turf.
Yeah.
Right, so the turf, we drink in the turf every Friday after our podcast. Like, I know I've known Wayne for years and years and years. Like, I used to go to Wrexham all the time when I was younger. Knew Wayne, still know Wayne. And then I'm walking into the turf now on a Friday after a podcast. Prime example. So we finished recording about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Went in the turf. Outside, there was someone painting a big mural, and there was 6 blacked out SUVs out the side. And I was like, what's going on here? We walked into the pub, and I got frisked by MI5 because Prince William had just left.
Oh wow. Yeah, I
And
remember
I'm
him. Yeah, I
like,
remember him going. Yeah, yeah.
you're driving around Wrexham and you're seeing Netflix vans and Disney vans and camera crew. It's honest, I can't explain how
I
weird
mean, it
it's
must be
become.
amazing for the town.
The
In terms of
buzz, but not
lifting.
even just the town, like even the surrounding towns, tourism has took a like the uptick on tourists coming in. Like that the turf now is a museum.
Yeah,
It's you go in there and there's like it's like it's like walking into a pub in New York because it is 95% Americans. Um, but yeah, Wrexham fever is so real, and it's had such a big knock-on effect to everyone locally, and the town has
yeah,
had such a big like sort of injection of hype almost because around here Wrexham was the rough town. Like
yeah.
if you're from Wrexham, you're rough. Like uh, but yeah, that culture's changing a bit, which is nice, nice, and the diehard fans
Are
have
still
earned
there.
this. They've earned
Yeah.
it because that club has been through the ringer.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Um,
I'm, being the age I am. I mean, I've seen, the exploits down the years in the FA Cup and stuff like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
and the Mickey Thomas goal,
Nicky
and
Thomas free kick, against Arsenal.
you know, and
Legend. Still goes
yeah,
there all the time. Mickey Thomas
and
still lives in
I
the area.
so my housemate, he's a Swansea fan as well. So Welsh football's not something that's unaccustomed to
Yeah.
me. And
Yeah.
I've been down to the Liberty a few times and whatnot, and so it's just incredible for Welsh football, um, like you say, for those towns as well, particularly obviously Wrexham. I
Exactly.
mean, but it's just incredible
Even what
stuff.
they've done for the football in the lower leagues, like
Well, that's the
6
thing.
years ago, you wouldn't be able to watch a football match in that league. And now most football matches are streamed
Yeah,
from National
yeah,
League foot.
from
Every
their own
National League
channels and
match
yeah.
is streamed now. There's iFollow was sort of they were such big in backing that and I think people, all right, it's cool to hate Wrexham and it's cool to think Wrexham are.
They're always gonna get a bit of
That's
hate
what
now
happens when you get the money in it.
because of the money. Yeah, but
Stockport have had very similar investment. No one says anything. But
no.
now Wrexham are the media darlings, aren't they? So they get it all. But yeah, look, it's cool. I think they could go all the way with the
Well,
right backing.
yeah. I mean,
With
the
the right
thing is,
backing.
I suppose that the worry is, is how deep the pockets go with the owners in terms of, and it was moving. Successive promotions is
Yeah.
that's massive, and to go from being non-league full time club in the league, and
But you
then
know what?
now
Even
pushing in.
like the money the club raise, they've got a higher average attendance than Bournemouth.
But yeah, yeah.
Um, like it's a sleeping giant, Wrexham. It really
Yeah,
is.
and obviously
Every
that
game is sold
they've got
out.
the temporary new stand behind the goal, the fourth wall as they're calling
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then
Um,
obviously once they get that new cop in behind the goal and that as
oh
well,
yeah, the cop will be yeah. That's
that's going to
the
be
atmosphere in that stadium has always been electric. Even when
yeah,
I said, even in 2008 when we were getting relegated. Do you know what I mean? Like it's yeah, it's a very
incredible.
exciting project they've got there, and it'd be cool to see how far it actually goes. And
Yeah.
I think they could go all the way with it. I really do. Town deserves it.
When you the thing is that we've seen this with other clubs as well, particularly if if they go on and push out of League One. League One's tough. There's some big teams down in there for this next
Yeah,
season coming.
yeah, definitely.
Um, so that's tough, but momentum is everything in football.
Yeah, yeah,
And
absolutely.
and
And I think
if they end
the
up in
squad's good enough. The squad's good enough for
yeah,
League One.
probably looking at it, maybe another forward.
Yeah, I
To
think someone to
Mullins going
partner
to score.
Mullin.
I think Mullins going to score goals. Ollie Palmer's great. He's a good foil for him and all that. But
Yeah, he's
you
getting on
need
a
a
bit now,
bit.
isn't he?
Yeah, you need a bit of depth and all that as well. And but
Yeah,
yeah, again, it's a good squad. They've invested correctly. Uh,
absolutely.
they haven't just gone. Okay, we've got money. Let's throw it at.
Do you know what?
Let
They're so committed to it as well. And I think that was everyone's worry when they
yeah.
were announced it was them. They were like, "Oh, this is just going to be a
It's just
this is a little project for a minute. This is going to be a little
yeah,
media
just
spin."
sell a show. But no, they're in. They're in. They're
They
in.
are obsessed, mate. Like
Yeah,
genuinely, even what they've done, like the stuff you don't see on camera is what they've done in the town. Like 10 years ago, if you're walking through Wrexham, you'd see one, two Wrexham shirts, maybe.
yeah. You can't get them
You,
now.
you're walking anywhere within an hour of Wrexham and you're seeing
Yeah.
tens and
Well,
tens and tens of Wrexham
I am
shirts.
gonna get one from my wall because behind me, even though I've got this background up on my
Yeah.
wall, I've got all my old shirts, all a
Yeah.
collection of old shirts all the way across the wall, and I'm
Yeah.
aiming to fill the whole wall. So
Yeah.
a Wrexham shirt's going up there.
Do you know what? I've got an old Wrexham shirt somewhere from like 2003. Don't know where it is, but they're going on eBay for like 300-400 quid.
Wow.
And it's like, it's nuts. It's nuts. Like, but it's cool. It's cool again. And you're seeing your town, your own town on
Yeah.
like and maybe it's different for you because you're from London, but like we're from Wrexham's a small town. We're a very rural area. Stuff like this doesn't happen
It
around here.
just doesn't
Do you know what I mean?
happen.
It doesn't
Yeah.
happen. We don't get camera crews come. We don't get celebrities visiting Wrexham. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Um,
Will Ferrell just rocking up on a Saturday
honestly, I
afternoon in the
can't
turf
I
for a
can't
pint.
explain
It's
how
mental.
weird it is.
It's mental. It's surreal. It's bizarre.
Yeah,
Um, but it's fantastic.
like you're in Wrexham and you're just seeing celebrities,
Yeah.
just like it's not, and it's normal life now. Rob McElhenney put a video on his story the other week, and he was just walking through Wrexham, and like no one stopped. That's a
No.
movie star, Hollywood movie star, walking through a little town in Wales, and
Yeah.
no, not one person stopped because it's just normal now. It's weird. It's so weird. It's so weird.
I think that says a lot about those two's character.
Yeah,
Actually,
they're genuinely like genuine
really
blokes.
nice guys,
Yeah,
and do you know what? It's amazing the fact that because you get all these consortiums that come together and buy football clubs and all that, and these are two guys that are just Hollywood actors but had never met
yeah,
and had become friends on social media.
yeah.
And then like
It's
Rob's like, well, I want to buy a football club. Ryan, you've got more money than me. Do you fancy
yeah.
jumping in?
Do you want to buy a
It's
football club too? And they
it's
love it. They
incredible.
do, and they've got so much time for the fans,
Yeah.
and that's the difference
I
between
think
them and
they're probably the first American owners to actually get football.
and they embrace it as well.
They actually get what the concept of the pyramid of football is.
Yeah, and yeah, you're absolutely bang on with that because
Yeah.
not many managers do. Not many
No,
owners do. American owners.
certainly ours don't.
No. Well, Amy, preach to the choir, mate. Preaching to the choir.
Uh,
But yeah, I think they again, and what they've done for the town, where it's a city now as well.
yeah.
Wrexham have been going for city status for years and years and years. Always got rejected. First
Now,
year they're in, we're a city.
bang. Yeah.
Uh,
And I hope that actually inspires other potential owners to look at clubs that are not your typical
yeah,
established big clubs and go, well, do you know what, maybe if we go in and actually at a base level and we follow this kind of like template, and
because it could
I'd love
save
to
so
see
many
it.
clubs as well. I am absolutely certain if these two lads didn't come in and buy Wrexham, it would be near folding at this point.
Yeah.
The finances were managed so poorly. The club
Yeah.
was in such disarray.
I've seen it before with like people like Macclesfield, Bath, and
Yeah,
other clubs that
Bury, look at Bury,
and
and they
yeah,
they they went Bolton a couple of years ago. Bolton were close to it,
close.
weren't they?
Yeah, Coventry. I mean, Coventry couldn't even play at their
Yeah,
own
Wigan. There's
stadium.
so many. Honestly, there is a list as long as my arm.
Yeah, it's
Um,
incredible. And when you actually look, even look in the National League, and then you go, League Two, League One, and you
yeah,
look at clubs in those divisions that were in the Premier League, within the last 20 years,
yeah,
that's mental.
it is. It is absolutely, and it's just down to poor management.
It is.
And that's
Yeah.
all it is. That's all it is. Down to poor management.
And how some of these people are allowed to buy clubs in the first place,
Yeah, the vetting process is poor, isn't it?
it is really bad. Yeah.
But yeah, it's all good. It's all good at Wrexham. It's fun. It's fun. I love
I
it.
can't even remember what we were talking about. We were talking about PSR, weren't we? See, no planning. But then, this is when conversations take you elsewhere. That's the beauty of football.
Exactly, mate. Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't, touching back on that, I don't get it. I don't understand. I understand the sentiment
Yeah,
of PSR or, I don't, I think the application of it, a bit like VAR, really, the application of it is not great.
yeah.
It's not great.
No, I
And
think it's
it
the
punishes the
idea
wrong
is there,
people.
isn't it? But
Yeah, I
it needs to
understand that
be.
they want to close the gap. You don't. When clearly that's not work when you've got a
You're
club
expanding the
that's
gap, aren't you?
well, yeah. City are going to win. This will be what their 6th Premier League in 7 seasons. So,
Yeah.
you
The
know,
Premier League has never seen anything like that.
no, and
Meant to be the most competitive league in the world, and at the minute it's
it's
just
not.
not, is it?
It really isn't. It really isn't. And fair play to Arsenal. They got close. Liverpool took it off of them for 1 year.
Yeah.
You know, well, I've got a lot of friends who are Liverpool fans, and they haven't. You know, I have to remind them that I've actually only won one title in 30 years. So
Exactly, yeah. Like
don't
it's
get above your station.
Jurgen Klopp. What a great run he's had, eh?
Um, I mean, it's only three. Is it? Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it not only three major trophies? Is it? It's an FA. Was it an FA Cup, Champions League, and a league?
And a league, yeah. Oh, I suppose a
And
Carabao Cup as well. He's had a couple of them, and he.
so, and we're saying that he's one of the most pivotal, successful managers in their history. I think Shankly and Fagan might have to say about
Yeah,
that.
I think Paisley might be a bit annoyed and all. Like, I think
Yeah,
there's a couple in there.
yeah, yeah. I, but yeah, again, I look at them. I look at Liverpool, and I think, well, you're the next Chelsea.
Oh, they're going to struggle.
You know,
They're going to
because
struggle.
you're going to have that thing when someone's going to come in, key players are going to go.
It ain't going to be the same.
Salah will probably end up going Saudi this year, I would think.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I
I
think
wouldn't
Nunes will be
be.
off as well. They've turned on him. They've
Yeah,
turned on Nunes.
he is the Jackson of the North.
He's weird, isn't he, though? He's so weird.
But
I
he's got
actually think he's
everything.
quite
He's
a good
got
footballer.
everything. No, he's got
Yeah.
everything. The work rate. It does. The complete. Everything's there by the finish.
Yeah, it's when he gets in that 6 yard box, his head just falls off, and I can't
I don't
I
get it.
can't get my head around it because he's
No,
he's so good.
he
Like
is
you
such
watch
a
him,
good
he's
player.
quick, he's good with the ball.
Yeah,
He gets in great positions. He
yeah.
makes really smart forward runs,
Attacking wise,
but he's a striker that
the
can't finish.
assists that he's made as well, have been
Yeah,
brilliant, and yet get him in
even
front
some
of
of the
goal,
goals he's scored have been
incredible.
ridiculous. But
Well,
I
I
don't know.
think I find this with a lot of strikers, and it's a bit like with Jackson as well. When they have time to think about a finish, that's when it goes wrong.
Yeah,
Jackson, clean through against City in the FA Cup, and he's already panicking. You see the panicking
yeah.
starting to set in. He's turning his head, and there was the one with
The
I
same with
think,
Lukaku though, wasn't it? Because we had both of us had Lukaku. It was the same with him.
yeah, well, we could end up with him back because Roma can't afford
No.
to pay the 43 million. I can't unless we can sell him to Saudi. I don't see anyone else taking
Yeah,
him.
I don't think he's maybe passing a bit now, isn't he?
Yeah, I
I
don't
quite like
know.
Lukaku though, to be fair. I don't think
For,
he was
for,
bad for us.
for
He's
the
just
amount of chances we create, he's like the perfect striker. We just
yeah.
need him, just a finisher in the box. You don't need him involved in the play.
No, you're right. Yeah, it could work for you, to be fair.
And I suppose the one thing with that, there's no history between Poch, if Poch stays, there's no
Yeah.
history between the two players. So the two, player
Super.
manager,
Yeah, yeah,
etc.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it would be a fresh start. It's whether or not, as Chelsea fans, we would accept it.
Yeah.
But it's the same. We're fickle. Football fans are fickle.
They are, yeah.
If he comes in and scores 3 or 4 goals in pre-season or whatever, and we think, oh, hello.
Messiah. Well, it was like that when he that season he came back. Started off brilliantly. What a
Well, he
signing, what a
did,
signing.
mate.
By the end of
Honestly,
the
till
season,
the
you hated him.
injury, he had that ankle injury, and then he came back and he never got quite with it, and then he got dropped from
Yeah.
the team. It's something that should have worked, and for one reason or another, it didn't. And then he goes and does the stupid interview, and then the
Yeah,
fans,
that was a strange one.
yeah, Chelsea fans,
Really.
we're a funny lot.
Mm.
We really get on the back of people quick.
United
Uh,
fans are the same.
yeah.
Ronaldo, Rashford. That's the way it
Yeah,
goes.
I kind of feel sorry for Ronaldo when he came back to your club
Wasn't the
because
right signing.
it weren't, and too old, um, too many players that was even at his age wasn't at his level,
Yeah.
and that must be frustrating as a player.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, you could tell it he was disinterested within the first couple of months. But
yeah,
that's the way it goes, isn't it? That's the way it
it
goes. We'll
is.
be all right, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, but the next thing I want to get your views on is VAR.
I'm over it.
I
I'm over it.
I hate it.
It's ruined football, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I celebrated a goal
Well,
properly.
we're almost becoming, NFL.
Yeah.
The amount of time the games drag on now.
Yeah, like games are lasting 105 minutes.
I mean, I know it's not, we pay a lot of money to go and watch football, and you want to get your money's worth.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be there for 3 hours.
Nah, football was so much better when I was younger. And that's not just because United were better.
Yeah.
It definitely helped, but um,
People
yeah,
could make a challenge. People could, people got clumped with tackles, and I, I just think there's, yeah, again, it was something that was brought in for the right reason, but the application of it again is wrong.
yeah,
And when, I mean, I know that they're potentially looking at like an AI way of doing the
offside,
offsides.
which I am actually not against that because that worked
No,
really
I
well in the World Cup.
yeah, I think potentially, you know, that would be a better way of doing it because
Yeah.
if if it's based on like a Hawkeye kind of system, because when you see them painting the lines on the pitch and stuff like that, it's
Oh, the
very
crosshairs,
it's
yeah.
embarrassing. It
And
looks
if you
so
listen
bad.
to them and talk about it as well, it's even well, they don't know what they're on about.
Yeah, I mean there was the Liverpool one that they got wrong.
Yeah.
And when you listen to the playback of the audio, well, why does there need to be so many voices?
It's just confusing, isn't it? It's just
Yeah,
a mess. It's just a mess. But yeah, I like that Sweden have just binned it off, haven't they?
have they?
Sweden's league have just binned VAR off.
Oh wow,
They've just
okay.
gone. So their league is 51% fan owned,
Bit
and the
like the
fans
old
have gone,
sort of German league
yeah,
template, really.
yeah, and the
Yeah,
fans have gone, we don't like it, so they've
it's
just binned
off.
it. They've gone, got rid of it. Yeah.
Good on them.
Which I think we should maybe follow suit and doing. It's just killing football, taking the emotion out of football. It's making it like a video game.
Yeah, do you know
It's
what I
not
mean?
what football
Obviously, when
is.
when we're watching it at home on TV, we can see what's happening, so we see the replays and all that. But
Yeah,
when you're in the stadium, I don't, because obviously nothing gets shown, they're not allowed to show it on the big
yeah,
screen because obviously they don't want to incite the crowds or whatever, which is a load of rubbish anyway. Um,
right. It's strange.
there's such a like a disconnect when you're sat in the stadium watching a game now because like I was going on my phone and watch TikTok for 5 minutes while these
Yeah,
idiots like
exactly. You're sitting there
you,
waiting, aren't you?
then you go down for your pie and pint at half time and you're like
Yeah, but half time ends up taking another 10 minutes longer than it should. Because do you know what I mean? It just I don't know. It messes your whole day up, doesn't it?
it does. I don't actually enjoy. I mean, I'm doing my job anyway. I've not been able to go and see a great deal of games this season.
Yeah,
And you know what? The most enjoyable games I've watched this season ain't Chelsea men. I've been, because my daughter's 13, and on
yeah.
occasion we go to watch the ladies. And just such a better atmosphere with no interference of any of that.
It's great, isn't it?
It's brilliant,
Proper
and
football.
I love
That's what
women's
I
football
love
anyway.
about the lower league football as well. At the minute with Wrexham, it's not there. That is still proper football.
I
National
love
League,
I
nothing
love
compares
EFL
to National
football
League
and
football.
National League. I love that. I love watching lower league football. I've
Yeah,
got a club literally, 400 yards away across the road, Tooting and Mitcham,
yeah,
and going down there and do you know what? You get so much more accessibility. You can get to talk to players. You can get to like have a chat with coaches and that. You pop down there on a Thursday evening and they've got like the communal 4G
yeah,
pitches, and
yeah.
the first team will be out there training and that, and you can go and watch it and have a chat with them afterwards and all that. I'm trying to talk them into coming on the podcast.
That's what you got to do,
um,
innit? You got to do.
you got to do what you got to do. But yeah, I love. I find the Premier League boring. Like with international football, I find that boring, and I
It's
find the
getting there,
Premier
isn't it?
League boring.
Yeah, taking the
Yeah,
emotion out of football.
I think so. Yeah. Well, there we go. We've put VAR to bed. Fuck it off.
That's it. Get rid of it. Get rid of
We
it.
are allowed to swear on here, by the way. I'll
Yeah,
just
it's all right then. Trying so hard not to. I'm a nightmare.
ah, but yeah. I've got a potty mouth, so but yeah. So we fuck VAR.
Yeah,
Yeah. Right.
there's the title.
I want to talk to you a little bit more about your charity match as well.
Yeah, man.
Um, Obviously, like you said, you're having a bit of a break from it this year.
Yeah.
Have you had any like sort of like biggish sort of names like come and play in it and whatnot?
Yeah, so we have Angry Ginge has been at two
Oh, I
of them.
fucking love Angry Ginge.
Yeah, so I know Ginge quite well now, so he
Yeah,
come,
mate.
yeah, he come,
Honestly, yeah, I've been watching him on the Girth and Turf
yeah, mate.
on pro clubs because I play pro clubs as well, and
Yeah.
I
Well, do you know
like
what?
it.
A lot of them have been at the game. Aaron Hunt's done 3 games in a row. Um,
Amazing.
been on the podcast as well.
Oh, brilliant, better.
Um, yes, we've had Danny Aaron's was meant to be there, but he couldn't make this year's game. We had Morgs, big YouTuber.
Yeah.
We've had Tom Garrett has played before. We've had there's definitely names I'm missing here. Cal the
Tom
Dragon,
Tom
been at a
Tom
few.
Tom Garrett. That's the rugby player.
No, he's one that
No.
does he does that podcast. I can't remember what it's called. It's not the fellas. Pitchside. There's a Pitchside podcast.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Um, so we've
Because
had
there is
him.
there is the rugby player of the same name, isn't
I
there?
think there probably is, yeah.
Yeah. And was it the one that was doing his mate in the changing room?
Watch out, that was Tom Garrett did that as well to his mate in the on Twitter.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, we've had loads of big names there. And Paddy Murphy. Paddy Murphy comes. Jonathan Morley, he was there. And there's definitely names I'm missing, so I'm sorry if they see it. I do apologize. Um, but yeah, no, we've been very lucky with the names we've got. I said as we were the first one, so we come
Yeah.
straight out of lockdown. We were the first TikTok game, so all of the UK football TikTok was there
We're in
basically.
on it.
All of the
That's
big names in
amazing.
UK TikTok were there. Luke Bennett was there.
He's funny. He's funny.
Um,
I mean, I spent far too much of my life sitting on TikTok. What
oh, it's time
scrolling
traveling
through.
it TikTok.
It's amazing. Like you're there and you watch a few videos. Next thing you know, like 5 hours have gone.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
The Chinese are clever.
Yeah,
They know what they're doing. Oh,
yeah, man. Um, but yeah, we've had a load of big names there, and it's done well. And we host it at a local ground, so it's done at the Welsh League Champions ground, so the New Saints.
okay,
I think they've currently hold the record for the longest win streak in professional football, which
okay.
is good. But it's Champions League ground. They have Champions League qualifiers there every year. The season Liverpool won the Champions League 06, 07. They had to actually qualify via playing
Playing it
TNS.
there.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. There we go.
So it's a good old ground, a great little setup as well. Um, so they've been really big in helping sort of get it off ground as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've done well. But
Well,
next year we're looking at
I'm
moving a little bit bigger.
racecourse.
We've tried. We've had conversations. There's been conversations there. Whether that happens or not, it's their move. But
Yeah.
we've had conversations. There have been
You never
meetings.
listen. You can only but ask.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. We had. We get it filmed. It's all filmed. It's all like proper professionally done. We get a commentary team down. We had a pre-show this year or last year. I think at one point we had the England under 21s reacting to goals from the game.
Okay.
So yeah, it was Jacob Ramsey and Morgan Gibbs White reacting to
Oof.
goals scored in the game. They actually reacted to me scoring an own goal.
Oh,
So
oh no, you didn't.
I did. Well, I cleared it off the line and it hit someone in the back of the head and went in. So I don't really think it was my fault, but they reacted to that goal.
That's good.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
But that's all on the channel.
All
All the
on, yeah,
matches
all
and
on
that.
Match for
Yeah.
Mind. Yeah, just put it on YouTube. All the full games will come up, and there are three on there to watch. So we've had two night games and a day game. The day game weren't as good.
Oh,
I
there we
prefer
go.
a
I'm
night
all
game.
over that. I'm gonna be on them. I'm gonna
There
be
you go.
watching them.
There you go.
Yeah.
Something to do when we go.
Yeah. Right. Well, I think we're looking at now 10 past 12. Wow,
Oh,
where has the
I've had
day
a
gone?
good stint there, mate. Good stint.
We've
Good
done well
stint.
there. We've done well.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of things.
I've enjoyed it, mate. It's just been good.
Yeah. It's my first time having like someone from another podcast on for a start.
Yeah.
I had a guy on who's got quite a big following on TikTok. He does
Yeah.
like TikTok lives, West Ham fan Alex, and that was good. So yeah, I'm learning. Even though I've been doing it for like 3 years, I'm still learning and still
Yeah. Yeah.
getting to grips with how I do all this thing and whatnot. So, but yeah, no, do you know what? This has been really good.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it, mate. We'll do it
I
again. We'll do it
appreciate
again,
it.
definitely.
Yeah, it's been amazing. Unfortunately, we haven't had anyone come in the live chat. I think it might be a bit too early for them.
I know, yeah.
But we've had
People aren't
viewers.
awake on a
There's
Saturday.
been people coming in and out, and I appreciate that, people. And don't be shy if you were in the chat to pop up and say hello during the shows, because otherwise I'll come around your house and hit you with a salmon. I won't. I hate salmon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's horrible. I don't know why I said that. I
Horrible.
quite like salmon.
I like eating it.
Yeah,
I
I
just
said it,
don't
yeah.
like touching it.
No, well,
You
it's
know?
not there to be touched, is it?
No. Oh, brilliant.
No,
Right.
thank you, mate. I've enjoyed it. We'll have to do it again. We'll get you on
Yeah,
mine as well.
definitely. Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Maybe even have to have a little trip to Wrexham.
Exactly. If
and
you're ever in
come
the
come and
area,
see
mate,
your
let us know.
studio or whatever.
Yeah, come
That'd be
down, mate.
brilliant.
It's good.
I'd love that. That'd be awesome. Yeah. So
Definitely,
yeah,
definitely.
thank you. Hopefully next time if we can get you on, we'll get the other guy
Yeah,
with you as
we'll get
well.
Connor on as well. We'll get
Yeah,
Connor on as well.
and that would be brilliant.
Definitely.
Who does he support? Is
He's
he
a United fan as
he's a
well,
United
yeah.
fan as
He's a
well?
United
So
fan as well.
okay.
Yeah. We'll outnumber you.
I've already, and my mate Andy, albeit he's a London lad, and but he lives in Norfolk near Norwich,
Right.
but but somehow he's a United fan from
Yeah.
as a kid. The glory years.
Well,
Um,
the reason I'm a United fan, this is a fun story. Mark Hughes, growing up, lived next door to my dad. Was my dad's best mate, Mark Hughes.
okay,
So somewhere we've got like when he went to Barcelona, we've got a signed shirt with all the names on. It's like Maradona,
wow,
Lineker, all them names on this shirt.
that's got to be
Gifted to us
worth a
by
few
Mark
quid.
Hughes. Yeah. Oh yeah. But it's proper. I don't
Lock
know
that
where it
away.
is. I don't know where it is. It's in someone's attic somewhere. But yeah, Mark Hughes, big family friend of me dad's
Love
side.
Mark Hughes, brilliant for us.
So that is why,
Absolutely
yeah,
amazing.
that is why we all are United fans.
Okay,
He's from Reuaben in Wrexham. So live there, yeah, live next door.
brilliant.
Anyway, yeah, no, thank you for having me on, mate. I've thoroughly enjoyed that
Yeah, mate.
chat.
I'd say it's been an absolute pleasure. It's been brilliant. You never know like how it's going to go when you bring someone like new in,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
this is other than like 5 minutes before we started this. This is the first time we'd actually spoken.
yeah.
Like, so I think that's gone well.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
Yeah, brilliant.
No, all
So
good.
that is episode 16 of Top Football Podcast.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah. So thank you from me, your host Hodgie, and the amazing Kieran, who's been
Thank you very
brilliant.
much.
So
Thoroughly enjoyed myself.
and obviously I'll message Kieran and coerce him back onto the show.
Oh, we'll do
And
it. Yeah, we'll get it sorted.
yeah, and we'll find some more football things to rant on about.
Well, I'm sure there'll be plenty more out in between then.
Definitely. All right. So I'm going to say goodbye to our friends on YouTube.
See you later.
And that's that. We'll see you on the next episode, hopefully soon.